You look like a king who lost his crown but still sits alone at the table like he is waiting for someone who will never come." The billionaire lifted his eyes slowly. The fork paused in his hand, and he saw a little girl standing there with neat braids and a notebook pressed to her chest. She did not wait for permission and slipped into the empty chair across from him. Her boldness felt unreal in a place where even the waiters spoke in whispers. She raised her hands and her fingers began to move. In sign language, the very language he had buried in silence for years, he stared confused. Children did not usually know this language. She smiled and opened her notebook, where uneven letters were written. "I saw you here before, you do not talk." "But I do." She pushed it toward him, her eyes shining with mischief and honesty. His chest tightened as if someone had knocked at a door he kept locked for too long. His fingers shook, but he signed back slowly, rusty with time. "Why are you here?" The girl leaned forward with a grin. "Because you look like someone who has too many rooms but no home, too many meals, but no one to share them." He blinked, unable to escape the sharp truth in her words. Something broke inside him, and before he knew it, the corner of his lips curved almost like a forgotten smile. She scribbled again, "You do not need a voice to make someone feel heard. You just need someone willing to listen." He looked at her small hands, covered in ink stains, and at the paper, with the shaky letters, and for the first time in years, he felt the silence was not heavy. It was alive. He raised his hand to ask more, but before he could finish, she leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper, carrying a secret that would soon turn his quiet world upside down. The billionaire's hand froze mid-air, but the girl's whisper slid in like it had been waiting for him all along. "You do not scare me. You just look like someone who forgot how to smile." Her words struck him sharper than any insult he had ever faced. His empire had made him powerful, yet this child made him feel seen in a way no deal, no headline ever could. She pulled a folded paper from her pocket and laid it on the table. A drawing, two people sitting together, one tall, one small, both smiling. She tapped it proudly. "See, this is today, and today is better than yesterday." His eyes stayed fixed on the lines of the drawing, his chest aching with something that felt dangerously close to hope. He lifted his hand and Haiga signed clumsily, "Why me?" The girl tilted her head, her voice calm but steady. "Because everyone else sees your money. I only saw your eyes." His breath caught, and for the first time in years, he felt warmth crawling back into his face like light breaking. Through a closed window, the restaurant buzz around them dimmed as if the world itself leaned closer to listen. A sharp voice cut through the moment. Anna, the girl's mother, rushed forward, fear and anger tangled in her steps. She grabbed the child's hand, glaring at him like he was a threat. But Anna held firm, her notebook pressed tight against her chest. "He is not scary, Mama!" "He listens." The mother froze, her grip faltering. Her eyes darted to the billionaire who now signed slowly with trembling. Fingers, words he had not dared form in years. She looked at him with a mix of disbelief and something heavier, something that felt like a memory trying to surface. And just then the doors of the restaurant banged open and another presence stormed, in a man whose eyes carried trouble, the kind that would not leave quietly. The man in the wrinkled suit scanned the room until his gaze locked on Anna, a crooked smile spreading across his face. "There you are," he said, his tone sharp and careless. Dana, the mother, stiffened, pulling her daughter close as if her very shadow could shield her. The billionaire sat still, but his eyes followed the man every step, like a hunter who had not forgotten how to watch. The man stopped at their table and sneered. "You should not be here, Dana. You should not let her near strangers, especially not him." His words cut through the air, and every head in the restaurant turned. The billionaire's jaw tightened his silence, carrying more weight than 1,000 arguments. Anna clung tighter to his sleeve, her small fingers digging in as if she trusted his quiet more than the loud voice standing in front of her. Dana's face was pale, her lips pressed thin, but her eyes betrayed fear that was not only about the man in front of her. It was fear of old wounds reopening. She whispered, "Please let us leave," but the man only smirked, leaning closer. He cannot even speak. What will he do? Something inside the billionaire snapped, the years of silence pressing hard against his chest and then breaking free. One word tore out of his throat, rough, raw, but undeniable. Enough. The sound silenced the entire restaurant. Dana froze in shock. Anna's mouth fell open in wonder, and the man's smile cracked into disbelief. Billionaire stood slowly, his tall frame rising like a storm. His voice shook, but his hand signed steady. "She is not afraid of me." "You should ask yourself why." The man stumbled a step back, his confidence slipping for the first time. Dana stared at the billionaire as if she was seeing him, not for what the world called him, but for who he really was. Anna reached into her pocket again and slipped her drawing into his hand. Her grin was wide and certain. "See, you talked. I told you you could." His fingers closed over the paper, the silence no longer a cage, but a choice. Anna turned at the door, signed one last time. "Don't stop now," and with that, she left him, standing there holding her drawing, knowing his life would never return to what it was before. If this story touched your heart, share it forward so more people can feel how even the quietest voices can change everything. The night air outside the restaurant was thick with whispers. Dana pulled Anna close, walking fast as if the ground itself was chasing them. The man in the suit followed a few steps behind, his anger burning holes in the quiet street. The billionaire stood at the doorway, his fingers gripping the drawing so tightly it bent at the edges. For years he had lived untouched by the world, hidden behind walls of money and silence. But tonight his silence had broken, and now nothing felt safe anymore. He stepped out onto the street, his shadow stretching across the pavement. The man turned back and sneered. "Stay out of this. You are nothing but a broken, rich man." But the billionaire did not flinch. He walked forward, his eyes locked, not on the man, but on Anna, who kept glancing over her shoulder, her small hand signing in the air so fast her mother almost missed it. "Please do not let go." The man reached for Dana's arm, and in that split second the billionaire's hand shot out firm and steady. He pulled Dana and Anna behind him, his voice still rough, but louder than before. "No more," Dana gasped, seeing him stand there, not as the silent figure the world mocked, but as someone unafraid of breaking again. The man cursed under his breath, stepping back as if the strength in that broken voice unsettled him more than any shout ever could. Anna peeked around her mother, her eyes shining with a strange kind of certainty. She lifted her little hands and signed, clear and slow. "You have a voice now, use it." The billionaire swallowed hard, the weight of her words pressing deeper than all the silence of his years. He looked down at the folded drawing still safe in his fist, then back at the girl whose courage lit the dark street brighter than any lamp. That night marked the beginning of something none of them could name. A bond forged not by money, not by power, but by truth, spoken in a language beyond sound. A mute billionaire who had spoken at last, a child who refused to let silence win, and a mother caught between fear and trust, standing at the edge of a story that was only just beginning. This story made you feel something if it kept you watching till the last moment, then share it so others can see how even the quietest hearts can find their voice.